Miss Habiba Kahinde. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm fine. Thank you. Thanks. It's really nice to see you guys again.
So without much ado, I want to welcome Camilla Nontra.
Yay!
Oh my goodness. I should come to you every day when I need.
Correct. This is Sudan.
Wow.
Sudan. Believe it or not, Sudan has more pyramids than Egypt.
Interesting.
Begin to think in a Pan-African way, because they now see that their conditions are not just about that local space, but the condition is linked to all of the other.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Pan-Africana Show. My name is Fred Nontra. Yes, good morning from California. Good afternoon if you live where my co-host lives. Good evening to you if you live on the other side of the world, GMT times. Well, we start our show by thanking God. By Him we live, we move, and have our being. And we have another great show with you. We have another great guest with us. And I'm going to hand it over to my co-host to introduce our guests.
So welcome to another week of the Pan-Africana Show. We are excited beyond measure because I've had the pleasure of knowing this person for almost a decade now. It's like time flies. I've seen her develop in the film industry, not just in the United States, but also overseas and primarily in Nigeria. She was the first person to give me insight into the filmmaking industry. And now she is a multimedia executive and known all the way around the world. So without further ado, I want to shout out to my girl, Steph. Hawte Fyre, how you doing?
Oh, you're that hype, yo. He's hyping me, y'all. I like to be honest. He's hyping me. But yo, I'm glad we can have this conversation, Jesse. I'm pretty proud of you too. Like I remember our first conversation, like you said. I remember how you kind of wanted and you weren't sure. And I was lost too. You know what I mean? Sometimes I still feel like I'm lost, to be honest. But I was lost too, and we kind of figured it out. And it's good, like we're finally here. And I'm really glad that you have this platform. So I'm happy to be here with you, man. Let's chop it up.
Awesome stuff. Well, I'm just gonna jump into it because I know that there are people who are gonna want to know who is Hawte Fyre. So my first question to you is, for those people who are not familiar, please tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and what you do for a living.
Okay, so my name is Stephanie Ohamara. My company is called Hawte Fyre Entertainment. So I, I'm referred to as Hawte Fyre. So no, I'm not Jamaican because everybody be like, why are you, no, I'm also Nigerian. I'll say I'm Nigerian American. But I think I primarily spent all through my life, I lived in both continents, you know what I mean? I'd go back and forth due to family or health or just different things. I was kind of almost consistently back and forth for my younger years all through now. So I think that kind of lends to my pretty nomadic lifestyle right now, actually. COVID, though, kind of kept me restricted. But primarily, I produce, I direct, I do every and anything video, ranging from TV to comedy series to documentaries, commercials. I mean, pretty much whoever's paying. If you got some money and you want some content, just holler at me. I'll make it happen. From just the idea to giving you the finished product to helping you market it, whatever you need, I got you. This is me. This is Hawte Fyre in a nutshell. Happy girl.
That is awesome. That's awesome. So here goes the Barbara Walters questions.
Okay.
Ready?
Oh God. Oh God, I'm scared. Okay, go ahead.
So I want to start off first by just asking, what was your initial inspiration for getting involved in this industry?
So the weird thing is, and I went to NC State, North Carolina State University for college. I actually got my degree in Wolfpack in the building. But I got my degree in psychology and criminology. So I wasn't even here. I was more kind of a counselor. At some point in my life, I kind of wanted something different because I had counseled in kind of a variety of spaces through volunteer and work. I had pretty much worked with a different variety of sectors, so to speak. I'm in counseling. And so when I went to Nigeria, I kind of, because here I was already doing little things here and there, like, going to PA for someone's shoot, or hanging out with the guys at the studios, helping with logistics for events and stuff like that. Even with the reggae community, way back in college, I had done kind of a number of things with some entertainment. Shout out to Brookout Entertainment, so first people to ever expose me really to that entertainment scene. You know what I mean? That's Chica. And so yeah, I think pretty much. When I switched over there, I knew I didn't want to do counseling in Nigeria, and that was mental health. I don't know if we're at that conversation yet, but mental health in Africa is a bit weird. I don't think it's something that now I think it's slowly becoming more open, but that wasn't something that was accepted there, and I just didn't want to get myself into having entertainment as kind of like a hobby of mine. I decided to go in on it kind of fully, and I decided to just kind of come back. I went to film school, and it kind of happened. That's what I guess I'm saying all this because I don't know that I necessarily had like an inspiration. It kind of just fell on me. It kind of just came to me. It was kind of at the time the obvious path for me to take. So I just kind of jumped on it, and I haven't really kind of regretted it, so to speak. Yeah. But I enjoyed the opportunities that it's kind of brought for me, you know what I mean? And so as time has gone along, I've improved, I've worked, I've had my ups, my downs and stuff like that. But inspiration was just kind of, God led me and I just kind of followed it. You know what I mean?
So Steph, so why Hawte Fyre? What's the background story with the Hawte Fyre?
So funny enough, that was a nickname from before. So it wasn't even that I had. In fact, my Facebook page had been Hawte Fyre forever, even way before I had that company. But so that came from my younger years, I was quite a firecracker. You understand? You party starts over everything. You're a Rasta girl, And, back then it was just hot like fire, you know what I'm saying? I was a baddie with a body. Now, I was, intelligent, I was educated, so I can't remember really. This friend of mine, I don't want to say his name right now because, we're not giving you airtime. But, he was like, you hot like fire. He always used to say, you hot like fire, girl. You hot like fire. And then so one day I had changed my name on Facebook to Hawte Fyre. And so when I wanted to start a company, it was a no-brainer. Just like, why not just do that? And, it was already kind of a brand, so to speak, by that time. So, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I got it.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Well, you talked a little bit
the
about
whole brand around the Hawte Fyre. That's pretty.
Yeah, so that's just what I did. I just built a brand around it after, I just kind of, instead of changing and looking for something else, it was kind of already a brand that people knew. So it just figured, why not?
So you talked a little bit about experiences both in the United States and in Nigeria. Yes. And because part of the show, the purpose is to bridge the gap. We've got a vision that we feel like all Black people around the world should be united. That means we need to agree on everything. Right. That we should at least recognize our humanity and appreciate and support one another. So I'm curious as to whether or not, what your experience has been in each different kind of hemisphere. Do you feel like you're supported more in one than the other, or do you feel like everybody has had open arms? Could you tell us a little bit about what that is like?
Sorry, I'm not sure if I get what you. So what in terms of what? Like what? So what am I using to compare these two places?
So I'm thinking in terms of like just living experience and in terms of your profession.
I mean, okay. A lot of people wonder why I went there to start, because I kind of started my career primarily in Africa. Like I had done some stuff here. I signed on with an agency here as well before I relocated. And so, but funny enough, I think the jobs that I was exposed to, I think is a better word choice, in Africa is what's built my platform to where the agency here utilizes me. I don't know if I'm kind of making sense. So I actually did I did go. Should we wait for him?
Oh no, you're good.
Okay. So I think I feel like in Africa I did have the access to more opportunities. I was able to work on work with brands that I don't think I would have kind of come across if I stayed in the States. This agency work, it helps you build your portfolio because you are exposed to opportunities that you wouldn't ordinarily get yourself as a freelancer, But then going there, I was able to go, really build my business, work with companies, learn, make mistakes and stuff like that. However, for me, the issue I think that I've had there was more so like the African element. And I feel like that sounds bad. Oh God, don't judge me, people. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I don't know how else to say it, and I can only be honest. But it was, it's just stuff like, not upholding a contract or not paying me the amount that I am entitled to, or just, it always just seemed like someone is trying to get over more so than, I think in the States, if I get a job and I know that I see $10,000 on an invoice, I'm going to get $10,000. I'm going to get my money. I'm not going to have to really chase anybody around. But like in Nigeria, there's gonna be stress. You know what I'm saying? And it might not uphold. And so those are some of the issues that I think I've had. But like I said, I feel like those are the pros and cons because I don't know that I really would have been able to get an opportunity to work with like a brand like Coca-Cola in America. I'm not sure how I might have necessarily gotten it. Not saying it's impossible, and maybe that's even diminishing my capabilities. Maybe I don't even know, but I think that I just felt more confident there. I felt like, there was opportunities that I can get there. I can, put the proposal together and go and, make it happen and see what I can do and, push it. Also, maybe because it's like a baby. Africa itself is like a baby. It's years behind. So you can teach it more. There's more opportunities there as opposed to where America, where I would see as more of an adult. There's light years. Even the Hollywood versus the Nollywood industry. The Hollywood is light years ahead of so it's catching up. And so I felt like I could plug into that growth more. To be part of that growth as opposed to kind of being here and trying to teach an old dog new tricks, so to speak. You know what I mean? But the combination, being a Nigerian American too has helped me because sometimes when there's downtime in Nigeria, I've had the opportunity of coming here and getting work. And, like I'm here now, I'm working here. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to see what opportunities are here and do what I can do, So I think primarily, the pros and cons exist, but I wouldn't necessarily say I'd pick one industry over the other. I think both of them have kind of contributed to who I am and my abilities today.
Okay. And I love conversations like this, mainly because, we have a comment. Let's see. Michael, hey guys, it's nice being able to join the program after a short while, and kudos to my Nigerian sister who is doing excellently well in the entertainment industry. Question is, what do you think about the entertainment industry in Nigeria as compared to what obtains in the state? Okay.
Not sure I totally understand the bottom part as compared to what obtains or what as compared to here. I'm gonna assume maybe he means in comparison to the States. And if that's what he meant, the entertainment industry, I think one major thing that differs there versus here, I think, is the financing. The entertainment industry is in Nigeria is kind of based on people who believe, like there's no setups, there's no, like Hollywood has funding, you know what I'm saying? Nollywood in Nigeria is funded by producers, individuals who find a way to raise money, so to speak, and hope that their opportunities are kind of, the opportunities bring home some bread, pretty much. You know what I mean? As opposed to here, I think that's one. And I'm coming at this from a standpoint of from a business angle, so I don't know if that also answers what his question is. But so if I was going to do a business, I would really want to do it here because there's some funding, right? But, again, because Nigeria is I keep referencing this whole baby thing, but that's why I think it's a place where there's a lot of opportunities. If some of even this funding from here can go there, like if people would, be interested in collaborations and stuff like, I'm a big believer of collaborations. I think that's even in Nigeria, I think that's not something that they kind of really value. Well, I wouldn't say the whole. There's some people, but most people kind of work alone, so to speak. On a movie, you'll see just one producer, as opposed to movies here, you'll see you know, like 3, and you see mega houses, 4 mega houses collaborating, you know, as opposed to there where there's 1 or 2 individuals. So I'm a big believer on that. So I do think that now, like I keep referencing Nigeria because that's my primary, you know, place of living in Africa. But of course, South Africa is another place that's booming. We're always looking for opportunities, even to, you know, to kind of bridge that gap and work together and, you know, make collaborations. But I definitely think that that's something that we need in the Nigerian entertainment industry is funding. It's like some kind of setup where people with creatives really can, you know, have the opportunity and value their self. And, you know, because if there's no money, even the crew and the workers in that field can't really, you know, it's an incentive when you're getting paid good money, man. You know,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? No matter what you're doing. So if it's one lady who's coming together with this little bit of money to do this film, she's only going to pay everybody peanuts. And, you know, and it just, you know what I'm saying? But if there's this nice funding where people are enjoying it and it's, come on, you'll get the best out of them. So I think this also kind of translates in some of the stuff that's put out, you know what I mean? You know, and I keep I'm referencing like movies and stuff like that. I think like our music videos are really stepping up. You know, I think that's where we're, you know, our music and our music videos are kind of crossing. You know, I've been here and I've been hearing my boy Wizkid. Like I'm a Wizkid fan, big time. Shout out to that boy Wizkid. You know what I'm saying? I love that boy. Like he's like I know him, but I don't. You know. But like I hear his song, Essence with Thames. I hear it in rotation. Like I've been, you know, traveling around, you know, the last 3 months, and I keep hearing it in rotation. So I'm like, so our music is coming across, you know, entertainment industry in Nigeria. Like they're struggling. They're trying, you know, like not even struggling. I mean, I think the better word is like they're pushing. They're trying to get it, you know, even with the lack of the funding, they're trying to make, you know, trying to get heard and trying to get seen. And I just hope that it happens. So that such investors, you know, and not even just only American, some Russian investors, some European, you know, like some Chinese investors even, you know, like can come there because it's like a baby and it needs, you know, it needs some nurturing, it needs some assistance, you know, in that field. Yeah, definitely. I think I said a lot, but yeah.
Oh, no, that was good. That was good. Yeah. So I was going to say, I think the reason I like this conversation is because I always imagine that there's somebody, some young person who's watching this program and they're thinking, okay, I want to enter into this industry. What do I need to do? And what you are providing them is not only a template of understanding how different markets and different continents work, but also not being afraid, like being courageous to go new places and try new things and see what works, and being willing to get involved at the level that you can be involved in those respective places. Because it is a balance. Like, I think one of the things that I want to talk to you about is in America, there's a lot of companies with a lot of money, but those companies aren't largely Black owned. But for like, you know, Spike Lee and Tyler Perry, it's not a lot of Black owned companies. So the depictions of Black people in our media isn't always positive. And certainly when you look at Black people on the international scale, the depictions in the media aren't positive. So how do you counterbalance that in the work that you do in either continent? Really, I would think for the things that I've seen from Nollywood, it's been maybe like the production value isn't the same as what it would be in America, but I like the storylines. They sometimes make me laugh. They sometimes make me, you know, cry or sad. But how do you like balance what these competing interests are when you're looking at the depiction of Black people on a global scale?
Now that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I mean, I think again, it's still the narrative that is pushed by the ones who are in, you know, I mean, like you said, you know, in Nollywood, I think that's something that the Nollywood industry is getting popular. I mean, no, it is popular even here. You know, I've met Black Americans now too who are aware of it and who watch it and who like it. And I really feel like one major thing that can assist, I mean, I don't know if it is counterbalancing, but they can assist with that, is kind of this same promotion that I'm talking about, right? So if you like if you have Netflix, there are Nigerian movies on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these Nigerian movies that cross over or are aspirational movies. There rarely any other movies that cross over here that depict Nigerians in a negative light. And they're mainly drama about love or about the goodness of this. I mean, you'll see one or two things, but it's selling our culture. It's selling certain aspects of the culture, the aspects of our beliefs, our morals, and stuff like that. So say you on your platform, you start retweeting certain movies. People will start watching them. You have white followers who start watching them and start, I mean, I think the thing is the reorientation of how Black people are portrayed has to come from the aggressor and not from the aggressee. I don't even know if that's a word, right? But so if we can get maybe other races to start seeing us tell our stories by ourselves, then I feel like they'll slowly get to understand. You really don't understand how a person believes what they believe, or so. Let me use a Michelle. Michelle is a 24-year-old Caucasian lady from Manhattan, New York. She never even met an African before her whole life until she gets a job at Apple and she meets this very intelligent African man. You know what I mean? Her opinion of Black people, however, will change drastically when she starts interacting with this guy. And she's like, oh, he's smart. Oh, he can cook. Oh, he's a nice guy. Oh, and so all these things. So again, if a person is exposed to more instances where they get to see like this stereotype erased away. And so I think that's from our stories. I think it's from our commercials. I think it's from our type of shows, our music videos. And I don't know if this is going way off point.
It's good.
I'm pulling like a weird story in, but I kind of want to say this, right? Like, it's also hard for us to counterbalance this opinion when a lot of people are still portraying this opinion. You understand? Yes, we want to be seen as with character as Black people, but really the Black culture to me is slowly dwindling too. So even and I think I've had a little bit of a culture shock on this particular trip because COVID was 2 years. Typically, almost every year I come back and forth to America. I feel like back and forth Nigeria, back at some 6 months here, 6 months there. That's typically how I've done it for a couple of years. But COVID, I was locked down for 2 years, and then coming back, I've seen things that I'm like, yo, people are tripping. What's going on? Like, this is not normal behavior. Like, we're way out of pocket. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm not one to sound judgmental. So I don't want to even say certain things to come off, in a certain way. But it's just kind of like things are being extreme now. Like, they're boundary issues, they're morality issues. They're like even kind of like the new summer style, what we're wearing, all these things are image, no matter what anyone wants to say. Somebody might say like, oh my God, Stephanie, you're trying to police what girls are wearing. I'm not trying to police it, no. But let me tell you something, man. If you're walking around on the streets of where you live and you're wearing a thong as your shorts, like, I mean, I'm just saying, and it's happening, and summer is just coming around, and yeah, like, honey, we're not gonna be, we can't then ask people to also portray us as classy ladies. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? You can't now say, oh, because that's what Michelle, let's use Michelle, is seeing when she's walking all her life. All she's seen is when she drove by to get Chinese, because, the Chinese go to the hood most times. And when she drives by to get some Chinese, she sees a bunch of girls wearing, like extra naked on the side. It's all of an impression in what you see. You know what I mean? So yes, I mean, as Africans or as an African American, you can want to propel these stories, but how real are these stories now? Like, you want to portray a Black woman as a good, loving woman, but are we good, loving women now still? Or are we now becoming more westernized? Or, so what are you selling? So even as an African woman, I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So yes,
I'm with you. I got you.
I get the counterbalancing, but before you start to prove, like, you look crazy trying to shout like, we deserve to be respected, and now all the girls behind you are bent over twerking. Let's hang out, and we want to be respected, and we want to be done. And then, but instead, behind us, we had the people who are supposed to be like, or that. No shade on the women who are twerking too, because I'm a very open-minded person, right? But I do believe that some things are meant to be done in the dark. I don't know if that's hypocritical. I don't care what anybody wants to say, but I just feel like some things are meant to be done in the dark. And you come out, come out in the morning clean. You know what I'm saying? People from my country would say chop clean mouth. You know what I'm saying? You eat and you clean your mouth and you walk away quietly. Some of this stuff. So if we're now, like, I went to the club. I think this is where I was going when I first brought this up. I went to the club and I was kidding around with a friend of mine that, when I was in college, I went to college here. I was I went to club, I had fun, but I was like 100%. The whole time I was in the club, I was like, every woman was bent over twerking with the guy that she was. I was even like, half the men wouldn't even recognize the faces of the girls that they were dancing because half the time the girl was bent over. She wasn't even, they weren't interacting or they weren't, you know what I'm saying? So I think where I'm going off tangent too, though, is just kind of still, our behavior as Black people has to kind of balance the narrative we're trying to sell. Boom. And that's the point I'm making.
That's deep. All right. So I want to push back. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Fred. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Fred.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I mean, if you want to follow up, fine. I'll hold my question to later.
Well, no, I just was saying, especially over here, what it feels like to me is the number of people who have had like really positive experiences in life. They've done everything they're supposed to do. They're Black, they're doctors, lawyers, accountants, whatever. That doesn't really get reflected in any of our media. And one of the things about particularly American media more so than anywhere else is all of the stuff that America sells is Black, but Black people don't control it. So we created hip hop at a time where hip hop was talking about the ills of poverty, the inner city, what was going on after the government flooded you with crack, like all of this stuff. And what happened is that we created a multi-million-dollar industry. And then the white corporations came in and they said, well, we can flip it and use the industry to influence the next generation of kids. So whereas it was people who were really engaged in stuff in the 80s, and they've gotten their way out and they've got rich and they were able to do one thing. The industry now has been able to repackage it and sell it to kids who never had that experience, like folks who've never seen crackheads, never seen drugs, and tell them this is the way that you're supposed to be. So if that's your image, right? Cool. Right. That's what's cool. That's what sells. And even for women, it's like, this is what you're supposed to be. On top of that, I think for women, it's particularly insidious in America because we want to say that we value like liberation of women and freedom of women, but all of our actions as a country would indicate otherwise. The only people that they really denigrate are Black women, right? You don't see white women like putting them on music videos, doing all the twerking or anything like that. They only do that for our women. And that's not to say they're not women who are great women who happen to like twerking. That's fine. I think the problem that I have with it is when it is taken over by a corporation, the only function is to make money. And they're, instead of selling it to their kids, they're selling it to our kids to say, look, this is what you should be. This is how you should be. If you want to get ahead, or if you want to get a man, or if you want to get over, this is what you have to be. And they promote the women who kind of embrace that, whether they do it for the corporate agenda or not. They promote those women to such a high standard that that's who everybody wants to be. Like, you want to be not so much the person that's on the stripper pole, but you want to be the person that's financially secure, the person that never has to worry about money, the person that's going to be attractive. Like, everybody wants that. So I don't know. I think it's hard because I agree with you. I think we have to portray what it is that we want people to think about us. But I also think in America, we have a rich history of them always, even before they knew Black people. Our first movie was, Birth of a Nation. They had white men in blackface trying to rape white women, right? As if Black people have ever been trying to rape white women in mass. But white people rape Black women all throughout American history. And it's like they present certain images. And that movie not just only put Hollywood on the map, like that movie put movies on the map around the world to the point where people dress in blackface in Europe, in South America, and whatever. And it's just hard to overcome. And the last point for me is, kind of like with your news, what the point that you were making is we have people who the news can easily pluck and say, look at them, they're crazy, they're dangerous, they're this. And they use that to mischaracterize a culture. Right? And they do the same thing. What really gets me upset is they do the same thing to our brothers and sisters from the African continent, right? Because what's taught to us about Africa is nothing like what Africa is. And unless you know somebody who lives in a country in Africa or who can have that interaction with you, you're not going to get pictures of the cities. You're not going to get pictures of the culture. You're not going to understand the connectivity. And so when they put the old man who looks like Santa Claus talking about send money, like when they put that guy in front of you, you're going to believe that, not knowing that he's filming that stuff in Detroit, right? Like he's filming that stuff here, right? Yeah. So it's to me, it's like kind of a dissonance that they're intentionally putting out there, and then they hate on us for trying to even get there. And that's why I really am big on supporting stuff out of Nollywood, particularly because even though you may not necessarily have the resources to be Hollywood at this point, it's going to get there, but not at this point. I think it's important for Black people around the world to see other Black people living enjoyable Black life. Right? You can have a family, you can have a job, you can have money, you can have success, you can raise your kids, right? It's not a bad thing. You don't have to sell drugs. You don't have to do anything bad. Yeah, you can have a good life. You're still going to have challenges with finding love. You're still going to have challenges as a parent, things like that. But I feel like when I watch a Nollywood film, I don't get the same. I mean, and I hate to say that because I'm American too, so I love seeing stuff blow up and see people get shot in movies. I love it, right? But at the same time, like I love the fact that I can watch something and just see myself, as opposed to seeing like this hyper masculine image of what I'm supposed to be.
Supposed to be, right. I agree. I wanted to say something about, it'll come to me. The comment I wanted to make about it, you just said that, you threw me off. But I mean, I do think that in general, there needs to be some level of, and I think it kind of needs to start from here, or well, not from the third world countries. I'll say the first worlders have to come in, but these stories have to be told. These stories must be told in some kind of way. And I do think, again, that it does boil down to the fundings. I do think the Tyler Perrys, need to, even the Tyler Perry movies, oddly enough, shout out Tyler Perry Studios. I've been trying to see if I can get a collaboration in. Y'all ain't getting back to a girl. What's up? What a girl got to do to collaborate with Tyler Perry?
I'll send him a message. I'll email him.
I personally feel like, even some of the movies, and which is why my interest there, because he has that reach, right? But I do think that even some of the Tyler Perry movies can't even tell us from a different perspective.
Exactly. No, you're right.
He's a very strong contender in telling Black stories, and I feel like it's still been like, the Diary of a Black Woman. I think he started, and I think he started the right way, because I think he, brought that some shock and some attention, and some, people are living in mansions but are being beat by their husband, and they're Black women, and they're Black couples, and his Black you know what I'm saying? So I think he really opened that platform properly. But then I think at some point he should have also started telling different types of stories, just a happy love story between two people. An African woman that's come from Africa to, to meet her. There's something, for example, like where I'm from in Nigeria, when you first have a child, either your mom or your husband's mom comes, the grandmother comes and stays with the baby for it, and it's just a culture thing. I mean, I'm sure he could have done a movie about that, and it would have just been a comedy, a drama, a really nice story, a wholesome story to show like an African culture, for example, and you follow this woman, followed her journey from the shocking Nigerian environment to this America, her first time. And there's so much comedy in that, because trust me, the grandmother, I'm sure he's Ghanaian, so I know his grandma. I know he knows what I'm talking about. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But our grandparents, coming here for the first time will be comedic to most people, because there'll be some level of shock and culture clash. And I mean, I can imagine my grandma coming out of the airport, and seeing a girl in a see-through dress with some shorts on at the airport. My mom probably smack her by herself. You know what I mean? Like, come on, Grace, you know? So for example, there's comedy in just that kind of story. So I do feel like he could have by now started telling a different, you know, instead of like maybe broken marriages stories or, you know, broken, you know, like, yes, there've been some broken homes, but they've also been some great, you know, great Black homes. There's, like you said, doctors, nurses, like show us a story where there's a successful doctor and a lawyer who are training their children who are good. And any family has problems, and show us how they overcome it, you know, not necessarily that the family broke down. And, you know, so I think even he has gotten this platform again. And I commend, like, I love those Tyler Perry movies when they came out because they were showing real Black problems, but also show us on a good side, because I think even, should I say white Hollywood, I don't know if that's right to say, has done the same. They've shown us Black, the bad side of white Hollywood, but they've also shown us some softer side, some nicer side, some, they balance it out. So you're not over, you know what I mean? So let's balance ours out. Let's just, get all these like people who want to share good stories about, I made a reference back then when that Black Panther came out. I thought that was a beautiful movie. I enjoy Marvel movies. So I thought it was a great movie. I did have some reservations. Unpopular opinion. Let me say that first before I say this. Unpopular opinion, maybe for some, but I also feel like it was just kind of used to draw out Black people, using the name Black Panther, because Black Panther means something to, especially the African American, not necessarily the Africans, but the African American. Black Panthers are the group that started the movement. And so naming a movie Black Panther that's supposed to signify the liberation of, or the movement, of Black people, and then you do a movie about a fairy tale place that doesn't exist, that's based in Africa, but that you don't even use a real place in Africa, so it's really a fairy tale and doesn't exist. Sorry, I can go. I'm trying to make a point. So it almost seemed like they just took the name Black Panther to kind of, hey, Black people, come, we've made a movie for you guys now, but it really didn't. It still was just like a fairy tale. I know it was Marvel, and I know, but I do think like just the name alone, like why? So I just feel like, like Black Hollywood could tell so many other different stories. Nollywood in Nigeria, I mean, we have the stories. It's just kind of the promotions. I think the quality value, production value, would increase if we had these investors, like I said, come in, and they will make them more what's the word? More welcoming, because some people might just, because of the production value alone, you might not even want to watch it. And like you said, a lot of them are nice stories. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them moving stories. They'll make you emotional. They'll you'll laugh, you'll shout, you know what I'm saying? Some of them are really good stories, but they just don't have the capabilities, you know what I mean, to really, really to get what they need to make the movies as good as they can. But let's tell these stories. You said something really, really, really strong, I think, when you said, and then they shoot it right here in America, in Boston. That there are people who don't even know that. And it's just kind of how the media can kind of portray somebody in a certain light. A lot of people probably don't know that you can shoot the production company never left America shooting that commercial, for example. All that stuff was, you know what I mean? And then it's just kind of like, whoa. What's going on? Like, why are they always? That's why I'm with you. I know that portrayal is, but then I also wonder, okay, so from a business standpoint, if I was an investor, they say sex sells, right? So absolutely. If I wanted to invest in a reality show right now, reality shows are kind of like where I'm going with hopefully my direction. So I think I'm focusing that. So that's why I'm using that for this example, but if I want to do a reality show and someone comes and says, okay, we're going to get you 10 girls in a house and they're going to be naked and they're going to be twerking all day. Or I'll get you 10 doctors and they're going to teach you guys off different types of mental health. I think that most producers will go for the 10 girls, right? Because that's where the money.
No, you're right.
So I think that's also like a catch-20, like, what's the way? Because even if they like me, if you come to me, hey, this is business, so I'm doing it from money, right? I'm doing it for a profit. What's going to turn over my profit? How much of a statement do I really want to make with these doctors versus how much of a statement and that's what people want to watch. It's not even necessarily that I want to watch it. I might not even watch what I produce, right? But people are going to watch it. How many do they really want to see doctors? You know what I'm saying? If we do like a survey right now of 100 Gen Zs, how many of them want to watch a doctor reality show on how to do a live surgery, a heart surgery? That's interesting as hell to me.
Mm-hmm.
To see a live surgery, how many people would tune into that versus how many people would tune into a Instagram model having sex. You know, I'm just, you know, obviously throwing things out, but you know what I'm saying? What are they going to tune into more? You know, so what do we do? How do you control that? I think that's even a bigger problem. Is now even when these businesses might decide that, okay, yo, let's tell a good story, but really, how much money are we going to make from that? Why am I going to put 100 million into a project and then I might not even get it back when I could put 100 million and get 500 million back from this?
That's a good point.
Yeah. Well, it did. I did have my both parents come over when I had my son, so they did have so I know what you're talking about.
Comedy, you know,
everything.
It
was also, I mean, the culture shock wasn't much because they'd already been here. So
before, right? Yeah. But you can imagine, like the first time, especially the older ones, like you get a grandparent who's been in Africa, and let's just say like my village, like, hey, shout out Imo States, Igbo get like B, you understand? But let's say let's say from someone that lived in the village like all her life, grandma, like, you know, is still eating groundnuts in the afternoon, you know what I'm saying? And then you bring her all the way here, like even just that alone. And she's coming to her first grandchild, and it's her first time, her first child. So she's going through, even the grandma's going through a lot of emotion. So just imagine that movie, for example, and I just pulled that, like I said, out of the hat, right? But there's so many cultures, and I'm again using Nigeria. You're Ghanaian, you probably have some culture, either how you marry or how you raise, you know, maybe when your daughter turns 13. There's so many cultures that we have, right? And Americans might not even know some of these cultures because a lot of culture too is based on some necessity, right? So even the grandma coming is, she's coming, but it also helped for the mom. This is a new mom.
Yeah.
So it's not even just that your grandma's coming or the point is this is a new mom. They know about postpartum. They'll also teach you. So aside from being there to help you, they'll also teach you. They'll also, you know, when you need to sleep. So it's even though it seems like some random culture, like why, but it's something. It's from a reason. You know what I mean? When you're getting married, maybe there's like where I'm from, we pay by bride price. Sorry, I can't. I'm tongue tied. We do the whole price, yeah. But then when my village in Nigeria, we charge the most. Like you gotta, they can ask you for like to find like 1,000 cows, and you know, like they go, oh, they're ridiculous. But the whole point is, you know what I'm saying? You gotta feel like you gotta put in some work to get this girl. Because if you put in all this work and spend all this money to marry my daughter, you ain't gonna treat her badly. I mean, that's the logic. I mean, not saying that he might still knock you out every Friday just for the hell of it. But I'm just saying, like, the whole premise is when you do all this work for anything, even work, even anything, when you put a lot of effort into something, you tend to treat it better, right? So that's the culture. So I was just saying, like, even Tyler Perry could go around even every, like, don't steal my idea now. Holler at me if you decide to do this. But he can go every one country in Africa, take one culture and make a movie by and educate the Americans. And it can be something that could even help. See, Jesse has kids, you know what I'm saying? But I'm sure it would have been a nice help maybe if his mom came. And if that was, you know what I mean? Like, and it reduces, just, I don't know. I don't know if you guys get me, but, you know, it'll educate it, you know, and it'll educate, and it'll also let teach them on this side and teach them on both sides. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're learning why they do it. And when you understand why a person is doing something, you understand them better. So it's because I also feel there's this weird energy between Africans and Americans. I always feel that. I always feel like it's, you know, there's some kind of weird beef sometimes, or it's always, I don't know what it is. Like I have a lot of, I mean, some people don't even know I'm African. Some people don't know I'm American, you know what I'm saying? Like I blend wherever I go, but there's always this weird friction between, especially like stout African women and like Black Americans. And I don't know why, because we should be kind of coming together. We're like the same. We're the same. We just live in a different place, love. It's just like, I'm your neighbor. That's all. Like, what is wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Why are you acting funny? We actually believe in a lot of the same things. We want the same things. That's all we want to do. Like, so I never understand this, you know, this Yeah, SRC and Caribbean. Yeah, we're all the same. I feel like even in our foods, man, jerk chicken and brown stew rice and our chicken stew is the same damn thing, you know. How we eat, how we dance. This twerking thing, like we've been twerking in Africa for years, but it's just been a different way, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't commercialized and popular. Right. You know what I'm saying? When Africans are doing it, wasn't popular. And then when, you know, whatever, let me not go on the tangent.
No, but this is great. This is exactly what the show is all about, right? So what I want to add to that is I also think I'm sorry for it to cut you off.
Okay, yeah, I was just gonna talk about. I just wanted to talk about the collaboration because I've seen movies where the Ghanaian film industry and Hollywood came together and they created there was a movie. They made a movie, or there's another time where when we had a year of return in Ghana, which was successful, black actors from the Caribbean and America came to Ghana to, they created a movie there too, which was a success. So what do you think about that? And do you think more of it should happen? And if so, okay, I'll let you go for
Well, do I think it's happening? I mean, obviously, because earlier on I said, like, I'm very big on it. I'm very big on collaborations. I even think that is the only way that our industry is going to move forward. I'm not saying that we don't have the power, but I don't necessarily know that we could pull ourselves out of where we are. I do think that someone stronger needs to kind of pull us out of where we are, and I would say that's more foreign bodies, so to speak. So yeah, I think the collaborations are, I like it when African countries come together. Like, you have a Ghanaian, a Nigerian, and South African, a Kenyan come together and make it, there's nothing that's going to beat that. Like a friend of mine, I can't remember who said this thing to me, but I always remember it recently. Someone was like, if let's say me, you, Jesse, two of your friends, two of our friends, like let's say 7 of us collaborate and we want to start selling candy, we will be successful just because there's so many, as opposed to if I just settle alone, it will be the biggest candy worldwide. You know what I'm saying? And I strongly believe that because if, 2 heads are better than 1, 5 heads are better than 2. And so when you see like an African company, like a Ghanaian company coming together with a Nigerian company, I feel like that'll only make it stronger because these guys will bring their strength. These guys will bring their strengths as opposed to kind of you just doing it alone. I really do like encourage it. I don't know. The other thing is I don't know how to I guess it's still, having access or, because even like as I sit here today, I can't necessarily say that I know a lot of people who I can go to and say, hey, like this is a South African company. Please, we have this. I don't even know where to turn. Let me say it. So I don't know if that's just me, and that might just be me. Like the other producers would have other contacts or connections and stuff like that. But like to encourage these collaborations, how do you reach out to that South African company that might be able to make it happen? And would they give you a listening ear? How do I approach that? Because they probably only want to work with they probably prefer to work with a South African producer. Like a South African investor would probably prefer to work with a South African producer than a Kenyan producer or something like that. What's that? Is that the movie? Is that one of the
Joseph.
movies?
It was a movie. It was the name of the movie that was collaborated between African Americans, Caribbeans, and Ghanaians.
Oh wow, this is awesome. This was in 2020. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it was part of the Year of Return celebration in Ghana.
Oh, that year. See, that Year of Return. Now I feel like the people that came up with that concept, bellissimo, you know what I mean? Like that was good job. Like you guys, and Ghanaians, that was a good move on their part. Like not saying that they're not, but they kind of repackaged. I like how it was repackaged as, come back home, you're home. And then, so a lot of people, have kind of been going back. I've heard a lot of it. I think there's even a word for it now. I forget, but whatever. But a lot of people coming back that year of the return was a really smart thing, and I know that it made people here want to go. It's like, oh, okay, it's one thing if we're fighting, but it's another thing if you guys are like, come on home, man, what's wrong? Let's come on. And so maybe that's another approach to what I was just saying earlier about this beef. Maybe on the flip side, maybe Africans need to be maybe a bit more welcoming, because you see that once Ghana has opened up the shores, Americans are trooping in. I know people who have moved. I even know recently some people, even Tanzania. Like I have a friend who's relocated there. So all these places, Zanzibar, all these places, and I think maybe because they're welcoming and they're saying it, they're not just chilling. They're being very vocal, so much so that they branded a whole year of return and made it a thing and stuff like that. So I think these clever approaches too are really good. Some people are creative. I hope to get some of that level type, because I think that was groundbreaking. I think that year of the return thing was really groundbreaking. Like, wow. I'm like, why didn't I think of that? Damn, that's such a good idea. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, but I think that's one main thing that would help is merging all of us, something that merges us together. And that's just collaborations. If we collaborate on a new movies, new businesses, it doesn't even only have to even be in production. I'm just always talking about production because that's my space, right? But if we're collaborating and making new hospitals, I don't even know, just legal stuff. You got your lawyer, like if we're just collaborating more across board, then we're passing, maybe now when they're passing laws, let's say it's from your legal part, they'll consider, just because now they collaborated to do it together, it's more including of everyone and stuff like that. So, I think that's what we need. Collaborations across the board, man. Collaborations across the board.
Yeah. Absolutely. And see, so the thing that I want to just add to the conversation, because I love when we talk about how to fix this mend between Africa and African Americans, right? And I think the hard part from the African American perspective is from the time that you're born in the United States, your country teaches you to hate yourself. Right. So the country is going to say white is right. Wow. The country is going to provide opportunities to white people. The country is going to bend over backwards to make sure that white folks have. Right. But they do that. And there's a cost and a price tag with that usually comes from black people. It's been slavery historically. It's been exploited work. It's been wages. And now it's a prison industrial complex. But it always comes from the work and labor of black people. And we've had guests on this show who talk about how natural resources in their particular country in Africa are being taken from them, despite the fact that they have leadership who are trying to fight against that. And those natural resources are what enters into our markets here, right? So one of the things that I feel strongly about is I think we have to do a better job. We as African Americans have to do a better job of getting centered about being happy about who we are, not just slogan wise, but like do the work of researching who are you, do your DNA test, look at African countries, visit, meet people, travel, make friends. And then likewise, I think, for people who come to the United States, it's always going to be different. Like I can only imagine if your whole life was, hey, if I work hard, I get what I'm trying to get. And you get to a place here where you're dealing with a populace of people who like, man, we've been working hard for 500 years, right? Yeah. And we haven't gotten anywhere because the system is designed against us and we've had to carve out how we would make it work, right? Then it can be frustrating. And I think sometimes that disconnect is people, one, I always like to tell people, if you've met an African-American person and they haven't been nice to you, more than likely that same African-American person hasn't been nice to me either. So don't classify the whole by one. And then number two, one of the things I always talk to Fred about is I'm like, man, in America, as soon as you're born, it's time to make money. Like you don't get time to be a kid in Black America. It's like, nope, get out. You got to go get the money. You got to go help out mom. You got to do whatever the case may be. So a lot of folks are running around and have never had time to process even basic stuff. Like, what do you like? What do you want out of life? It's just, I want to pay rent this month. Right. So to get people to kind of step away from the capitalist infrastructure that has been pressed upon you, just to take a look at how do we come together? How do we reconnect with who we are, find out what we like, make friends, expand your demographic, travel. Can't emphasize that enough because most of my friends never left the city.
Get your passport.
Get a passport.
Get a travel buddy. I mean,
yes.
You know, I think traveling. I think being, traveling around has gravely impacted my life as a whole. It comes as a blessing, as a curse. So just you pick whichever side, but I choose the blessing side. I'm someone who's been blessed to travel quite a lot. In fact, the first time I flew unaccompanied minor, I want to say I was like 7 years old. Internationally, I flew at 7, I think. I think I was. So, you know, I've been traveling for a long time in my life. And it's one thing, it's given me friends kind of all over. You know, it's giving me, I think I'm pretty good at staying in touch. Some people might be like, you're lying, but I think I am. And that exposure, you know, when you go to, it's even just within America. So let me use America as an example. You go to, on this trip, I went to Dallas, for example, and you go there and you see how they do certain things. Then you understand why. Maybe when you were in college, I met some people from Dallas and they did certain things and I could understand why. Mm-hmm. When you go to Dallas, you see that this is a norm there. It's a norm, but you understand why they're doing this. And then when you understand something differently, it also changes how you think, right? Because maybe all your life you've been thinking 1 + 8 is 9, but when you go to Dallas, then you see there's a 2 and there's a freaking 7. Oh hell, there's now 2 + 7. You go to Vegas, you see 3 and 6, and now, oh shit, now I have 3 ways to get in my 9. I feel like it even exposes me more to certain things. It's exposed me to bad, but I know that it's also exposed me to way more good than ever. You know, experiencing, exposing, opening my mind. Like I said, I'm very open-minded. I might not like certain things, but I'll still go and see that thing so that I know about it, so that I understand it. It gives me a certain level of understanding. So I do encourage, like, especially, you know, I know a lot of Americans who don't even have a passport. What does that say? That you don't want to see what's outside of where you are? I think inherently, and forgive me for saying that says a lot about you. What are you scared about? Like, you should want to see stuff. You should want to, you know what's going on around you. You should want to now, if it's that you can't and won't, I think are different, right? You can't, you know, it's financial, or you can't, it's health, it's something else. But just say, you know, you're young, you know, or even older, and you've lived your whole life. So if you're older, you lived your whole life, you haven't traveled, you haven't seen stuff. If you haven't seen it, you don't even know if you even reach your maximum potential. Because you never even tried to go see it. You never even, maybe you've been in this one place all your life and you've been hammering with, you know, and then here you are, you could have been a celebrity, or not even a celebrity, but like wealthy, because you had this other skill. So not even just a thing, but even your talents, even, you know, you might find, you know, I don't know. I would encourage it, like, because I meet a lot of Americans who don't even have a passport. That kind of comes off as ethnocentric. Ethnocentric meaning, I think you thinking yours is the best, but you know, if you don't see others, you can even, in fact, seeing other cultures might help you appreciate America more. Mm-hmm. That's another angle. But even, do you understand what I'm saying? Seeing other cultures might also help you. So it's not only just seeing them and learning from them, but it might make you come back here and be like, ooh, like I love this, but America is where it's at. You know what I'm saying? You might feel differently about it. You might not feel, even for Black people, I do feel like sometimes I meet people who I kind of use the word defeated. Again, forgive me, it's my word, but you know, you've already given up before you started and you haven't even tried. Like, you know what I mean? So why don't you just go out, see what it is, you know, and maybe when you go out and see that, these people, like somewhere in Nigeria, there are places that have no light for a whole month. They don't have the excuse of saying my grandfather was they just don't have it, okay? So by the time you go there and you come home and you have light 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you might not feel like the white man. And the white man's still messed up, but you're not going to be so concerned about him. You're just going to be happy with yourself now. You know, it kind of changes how you're even seeing the same exact situation. You know what I mean? But I think travel, making friends, you know, my family, they'd probably be like, her and her making friends. But I feel like because of some of the friends I've encountered in my life, I've had some experiences that I probably would have never had, you know what I'm saying, otherwise. So I'm just, you know, open. I encourage, get your passport. My friend Sierra, shout out Sierra, we just made a pact even. She's going to be like, why are you saying it online? We made a pact to take 15 trips recently together. And something like that, like she's awesome, because something she even does whenever she's online and she sees something she likes, she puts it on her map. So it might be somewhere in Bali, for example, and she'll just put it on her map. It's somewhere she wants to go. And you know, plans towards it. And so you know, you can build your timeline by yourself without even knowing, you know. But I mean, before going off on a tangent, travel, check it out. Don't be scared. Even just go to the next state over, reach out to certain people, you know. Shit is happening, people are dying, but you know, people are living as well. And you know, don't you want to be living? Like, you know, just try it out. Get a passport.
Yeah, go to Seychelles Island, Banana Island in Nigeria.
Yeah,
vacation spots, not just
that's some crazy spots. Yeah, Banana Island is like for the wealthy. It's like, so he's talking about like a really wealthy community in Lagos, yo. Like those people. Hopefully, I'll get a house there in like 10 years.
Oh, I thought you were already there. I thought you had 3 of them.
That's right, Jesse. Manifest it for me, brother. Manifest it for me.
Yeah, but I agree with you. And one wise person, my spiritual father once said that if you do not travel, you're not educated. No matter how many degrees you have, if you do not travel, you're not educated. So I definitely agree with you. Looks like we have to switch gears right now. Michael's asking for your favorite Nigerian meal.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my favorite Nigerian meal. My favorite Nigerian meal would be our food. Nigerian food is awesome. I can't pick. I like food. I like food. Yeah, so you know what, my guy, swallow egusi, eba and egusi. So it's like here it trended a while ago, like fufu. It's like what's the consistency of the food? It's eba, but I like eba or pounded yam and egusi. Yeah. Other people would say I eat rice, but no, I think I like egusi.
Egusi, okay. I think that's Michael's favorite too, if I remember correctly.
Oh, he likes egusi too? Yeah. Is Michael is he from my part of Nigeria? What's his tribe? Is he Igbo?
Bayelsa State.
Oh, okay, Bayelsa. Oh, he's close by. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, egusi is my favorite food. My favorite Nigerian dish.
Yeah, we definitely have to get you in contact with Michael.
What does he do?
I said we definitely have to get in touch with Michael. He's
a lawyer in Nigeria. Yeah.
Michael, I need an entertainment lawyer. Do you want to be my lawyer?
Michael, you got business coming up.
We'll give you a business. Make sure you give us a cut, Michael.
10%. Come on now.
We said, what's good?
Necessa, let's talk about food. Girl, don't get me started now. Don't get me started. I saw a lady talk about Caribbean earlier. I love jerk chicken. I love oxtails.
Yes.
Yeah, that's for my Caribbean. That's my joint. The beef patties. Kind of. So in Nigeria, we have meat pie. It's kind of similar. They're called kind of similar.
Yeah, meat pies. Yeah.
Oh, egusi and eba. He's like, hey, that's funny. But yeah, so I like Jamaican food. I do like Jamaican food a lot.
Shout out Nadine.
I think it's very similar. Have you had it though, Jesse? Have you had?
Of course. I used to live there all throughout college. I was going to Jamaican restaurants. But Nadine, one of the people who commented, she's a guest on our show, and she's from Jamaica. And she allegedly makes really good Jamaican food. I haven't had any. No pressure, Nadine, but allegedly she
That's funny. But have you tried Nigerian food?
I don't think I have. We've got Zimbabwean food and Ethiopian, but I don't think
I've had Ethiopian too. I've had Ethiopian. Oh, cool. But haven't had jollof rice?
No, that's what I'm dying to get. Fred has a recipe up, and I just got.
I just want it to be known. I just want to put it out there that my rice is better than Fred's rice. Okay.
Shots fired.
Nigerian jollof is better than Ghanaian jollof. Let's just be clear, and let's not argue. Hey, I told you.
Do you really want to go there?
Fred, how many times did I call your name? You know, I can't call your name more than once, Fred. Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy. I got my crock pot and I got a book of recipes, and some, Fred has a food blog. So I get some of the stuff from Fred, and then our other producer, Ketchy, has a food blog as well. So now I can start experimenting. I know it's not going to taste as good as either one of y'all, but I got to learn, I got to learn.
Oh, wait. Oops. Did I go away? Okay, there I go.
Yeah. Yep. Well, this has been great. Our time always flies on this show when we're having a good time. And I'm glad that we were able to get a lot of your insights and opinions. I wanted to know, if you don't mind, would you please let the people know how they can reach out to you and what your social media contacts and handles are?
Okay, yeah, definitely. So I am at Hawte Fyre. No, he didn't. Oh, he's looking for my trouble now. Okay. That's not even how it looks. That's not even. Oh no. And that's another thing. You see, if I Googled a picture of Nigerian jollof, you see there are like other things inside the jollof. See how plain this is? This is a plain picture, Fred. I could do better. Come on. What is this? Oh God, Fred!
Yeah, you haven't seen the whole blog. This is just the picture, the front pictures.
Oh, this is a picture from your blog. Oh, shots fired! Yo, oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, I was saying, everything is Hawte Fyre for me. And Hawte Fyre is HAWTE. Fyre. That's HAWTEFYRE. That's on Instagram, on Twitter, on my website, on YouTube, on Mary Had a Little Lamb. That's on everything. Yes, Hawte Fyre. HAWTFYRE. Thank you. That's it right there. Reach out to me, man. I'm always looking for opportunities, collaborations, or I'm looking to work, or whatever it is. Looking for mentors and mentees. I just believe in, human interaction. I think that it's assisted me a lot in my life. So I'm always still eager to meet new people, get new opportunities, and kind of push myself even further. Work-wise, I'm also, like I said, looking to partner with TV stations anywhere in the world, looking to allow me to tell stories, allow me to collaborate with them, teach me, and, kind of a mutually symbiotic relationship, individuals, producers, directors, and even crew members if you're kind of around, and we can work together. But again, let's just try to make some money, man. Let's just try to make some money together. Let's kind of promote Black power, Black love. I believe strongly in Black love. Let's just, I believe love is the strongest thing. You see people can be really good if they choose to be. So why not just do that? Why not just be that? Even if times get tough, but why not just be good? Because eventually, that tough time will be over, and then, so why not just be good? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's Black love, sister. Zakia, Black love. I absolutely believe in that.
Absolutely.
My hope is to kind of just promote positivity as much as I can. Like, I'm not a perfect person. I'm crazy and wild and all this stuff, but I just strongly believe in working hard and really, really putting out positivity and love. You know what I mean? Positivity and love all the way.
Well, you all heard how to contact her, and you heard all the things that she would be looking for. What you did not hear, and what we hope you do not do, is use this as your opportunity to be Trae Young and shoot shots from half court.
Well, hey, if you're gonna treat this queen right, Jesse.
So I always have to do the disclaimer, just because we can't control who listens to the show, and I know there's somebody, there's somebody sitting here. Got a list of eggplants to send over to you right now. So I'm talking to that person. Please do not send them. Press delete right now.
Please
don't do it.
Yes. Please. All right. Thank you so much, guys.
Yes. And if you'll hold on, so after the show, we'll talk to you a little bit more, and I'll get your information.
Okay, sure.
So you can set up the shirt thing.
Sure. No problem.
For those of you who this may be your first time watching, if you have not done so already, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram at The Pan Africana Show. We're here every Saturday, 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific, 5:30 GMT. But come, and if you want to be a guest on the show, shoot us a message too. We love to have you, but we want to keep building these bridges across the diaspora so that when you go somewhere, you can say you know somebody and actually be not lying like I do when I go to New York and say I know JC. So, so thank you all for tuning in for another week. Fred, do you have anything to add before we close?
Yeah. So if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, share, give us a thumbs up. This show will be it's already on there. Yeah, 2 thumbs up, and and you'll get more of this. Give us more views. We passed 7,500, almost 8,000 views, almost 200 subscribers. So. So please do. We need more. All right. So have a good weekend, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Thank you to our guests, Hawte Fyre.
My pleasure. My pleasure. It was nice chatting you.
Yeah. So take care.
Take care. Bye. 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 Bye.